Hello and welcome back to week 5 of the Sydney Shawl call. Today we will be looking at the honeycomb section, which will be a repetition of the section that we started with in a way. So we are starting with row number 114. We will work this row partly together, and then you will work on your own row 115 all the way to row 139. So this will be larger section. It will be the honeycomb stitch pattern, so you will get a really good muscle memory of your Tunisian simple and Tunisian purl stitches. Then this will follow by row number 140, which is repetition of row 30, where we increased twice at the beginning and we worked Tunisian simple stitch across to the end stitch. And then I will meet you again for row number 141. There will be the beginning of colourwork section for the week 5. So without further ado, let's dive into the row 114. So we will start the row 114 with a double increase. So we will work Tunisian knit stitch and an increase, Tunisian knit stitch and an increase. So as you may have noticed, we are back to color A. For me, that's red or poppy fields. And for you, it will be whichever color you selected to be your color A. And now we are going to be working Tunisian simple stitch, followed by Tunisian purl stitch, and we will repeat this all the way across the row to last 2 stitches. Then we will work 1 Tunisian simple stitch and an end stitch. So we are working Tunisian simple stitch, followed by Tunisian purl stitch, Tunisian simple, Tunisian purl, Tunisian simple. So just in case you have forgotten, the Tunisian purl stitch that we learned in week 1, you bring the yarn to the front of the hook, you hold it with your finger, you will go into the next stitch from right to left under the front vertical bar, yarn over and pull up a loop. Okay, and we are going to repeat this across the row. I'm now at the end of row 114. I've got last 2 stitches left. So we work Tunisian simple stitch and an end stitch. And this is followed by a standard return pass with decrease. Hello and welcome back to the last colourwork section for the Sydney Shawl call. I'm so glad that you made it all the way here. So we will be starting from row number 141. So we are working with color A at the moment. We will make 3 increases paired with Tunisian knit stitch. So that's Tunisian knit stitch and an increase, Tunisian knit stitch and an increase, that's second, Tunisian knit stitch and an increase. We will then work 2 Tunisian knit stitches in color A, so that's 1 and 2, and then we will join color B. So for me, that's color B. So we are going to go into the next stitch as for Tunisian knit stitch, place the loop on the hook and pull up a loop. We will then work 1 Tunisian knit stitch in the next stitch, and the same as previously in other colourwork sections, we are going to be changing colors after every 2 Tunisian knit stitches. So I'm going to work 3 of them together with you, 1 and 2 in color A, and 1 and 2 in color B, and we will repeat this all the way to the end of the row. We will get to the last 2 stitches. We will work 1 Tunisian knit stitch in A and an end stitch in A. We are now at the end of the forward pass for row number 141. So I've got last 2 stitches left to work. So I will work the last stitch before the end stitch in color B, and then I work the end stitch. We'll work the end stitch in color A. And as we are going to do the return pass, so you can see the second stitch from the left is in B, so we'll need to change our colors right away. Yarn over, pull through 2, and then we will change back to A. And after this, we will change colors after every 2 stitches on the return pass, like so. So as you can see, this colourwork section is quite big. So you've got the strands of yarn are really tightly wrapped around each other. So my trick for this section, when this colourwork section is this long, is to pull quite a lot of yarn from your ball, or however you prepare it for your project, and then as you work the color work on the forward pass, the strands of yarn starts wrapping or start being wrapped one around the other. However, as you work the return pass and you do the same wrapping but in the opposite way, the strands of yarn start unwrapping. So don't worry about this while you're working the forward pass, because it kind of resolves itself on the return pass. So you will then complete your return pass for row number 141. You will continue following the pattern for row number 142, 3 and 4, and I will meet you back on row 145. We are now on row number 145. We are going to start doing simple color work. As you can see, we've got both of the strands of yarns of color A and color B at the beginning of the row. We need to cut off B because we will be joining this at the end of the row on the return pass, and we will start working with A. So the row number 145 has got 3 increases at the beginning of the row. So work Tunisian knit stitch and an increase, Tunisian knit stitch and an increase, and we repeat this once more, Tunisian knit stitch and an increase. Now we will start the stitch pattern repeat for this row, which is Tunisian simple stitch in the next stitch followed by Tunisian slanted stitch. So we start with Tunisian simple stitch followed by Tunisian slanted stitch, Tunisian simple, Tunisian slanted, and we repeat the 2 stitch pattern all the way to the end of the row, to the last stitch, which will be the end stitch. So once we get there, we then change to color B. So I'll meet you back at the end of the row for changing color to B. I am now at the end of the row on last few stitches, so I'm going to make the last stitch pattern repeat of Tunisian simple and Tunisian slanted stitch. I will then work end stitch, and this is where we are going to change to color B. So I'm going to leave sufficient tail to weave in, and as before I like to make a loop instead of slip knot, but if you prefer to work with a slip knot just to stabilize the loop, it's entirely up to you. This is just my personal preference. So normally we would yarn over and pull through 2, so placing the loop on the hook counts as yarn over. Now pull through 2. I like to secure the tail at the back of my work by wrapping it around, and I will continue with yarn over, pull through 2 for the return pass of row number 145. So you will continue working with B on forward pass for row number 146. You will then change back to A on the return pass of row 146. Continue working with A the forward pass of row 147. Change to B on the return pass of row 147. You will then continue working with B. You can then break yarn A because you will not need it for this project anymore. You will continue working row 148 in B. Row 148 will be the repetition of row number 30, so you will work Tunisian simple stitch across, and that will be it for the week number 5, and then I will meet you next week for week number 6.